Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to another Wild Rift video, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys all the different changes that are already in Wild Rift. So Riot Games, they mistakenly brought the new patch out already before even showing us the patch notes. So I was digging on the internet and I found the Chinese patch notes, I translated them, and I got them here for you guys. So let's now talk about all the changes. By the way, this is my first time going through them changes. I've only seen Jax and Master Yi changes. And let me just tell you real quick. Master Yi, oh my god, he got buffed so hard. But okay, let's just get through the changes and talk about what I think about it. So first off, we have Jax. He got buffed. So actually, the only nerf that he got is adjusted the initial bonus attack speed from 20% to 10% from his passive. But now, the way it goes is Jax now gets 2 relentless combos when attacking mains or enemy champions. So he can stack up his passive twice as fast when you attack minions or champions. So when you're in your lane, you're going to be able to stack up your passive super fast, getting that attack speed up really fast. Let's see. So, but it doesn't stack up faster when attacking turrets, so it's not going to be completely broken against turrets. I mean, it's good that they did that. The maximum number of stacks, oh, I cannot do that, has been increased from 8 to 10. So the initial amount of attack speed that you have is going to be a little lower, but once you've stacked up, it's going to be higher, and you can stack up faster. That's kind of the point. So the attack speed gained by ruthless combat has been adjusted from 3% plus own level to 2.4% plus your level. So as I said, it's a little less, but you can stack up faster, and that's the whole point of it. It's a buff because you can stack up way faster than before. It used to only be 1, you know, you get only 1 stack when attacking a champion, but now you get 2. So after attacking a champion 5 times only, or after attacking minions, you're already gonna have your full stacks. It's so fast, it's crazy. So the next buff that they gave him, while you use the third ability, you know, when he does his dodge, you not only dodge basic attacks, you also just take 25% reduced damage. So do you guys remember where Jax was like completely useless against Gragas, because Gragas would completely destroy him with his abilities? Now, while Jax uses his third ability, you're going to be taking 25% less damage from everything from a champion. You know, not from a turret, but from everything a champion does. So even if it's ability damage, you're going to take 25% reduced damage, which is huge. Like this might just make Jax good now. It might. I might give him a try. So now we get to Master Yi. Oh my god, I don't know why. Like maybe his win rate is low, but let's just talk about these crazy changes. So here they said they increased the damage, blah blah blah, but basically they adjusted armor growth from 3.5 to 3.9. So what that means is every time you level up, instead of gaining 3.5 armor, you gain 3.9 armor. So 15 times 0.4 is 6 armor. So at max level, you're gonna have 6 armor more. I mean, it's a change. It's a change. Let's just say it's definitely a change. It's like a 10-15% increase in armor, which is good, you know, in the late game. It's definitely good, but it's not game changing because Master Yi is already with his first ability where enemies cannot even hit you. So, you know, it's a buff. It's definitely a buff. It's going to make him a little tankier, but the real buffs come here. So the first ability, it deals extra damage to monsters, and this is going to allow you to clear out jungle way faster. Like this is really going to help you clear out the jungle faster, especially in the early game. Like it's a flat buff of 15 damage, which means that in the early game especially, you're going to be clearing out the jungle way faster. The third ability, you know, where you get the true damage, they increase the true damage. And look at this. See, this is like, you guys may only see like, yeah, it's just a 7 buff. You know, who cares about 7 damage? In the early game, instead of 18 damage, it does 25 damage now. That is like a 40% buff of damage. 40% buff. Do you guys know how big that is? And let me tell you especially why this is big. Because Master Yi is a late game champion. Once you get to the late game, you're gonna be unbeatable. Like you're gonna be really strong. It's gonna be really hard for the enemy to deal with you. Basically, they can deal with you in the early game. Like Yi is weak in the early game. But with this buff to the third ability, the amount of true damage that you deal in the early game is big. It's really big. Like this is a big buff to him. It's gonna make him, you know, you can fight the enemy in the early game. You can survive your early game easier. On top of that, they buffed the ultimate, and this is just bizarre. Honestly, I find this change bizarre. So on level 1, the cooldown is 10 seconds lower. On level 2, the cooldown is 15 seconds lower. But on level 3, the cooldown is 20 seconds lower. Let me just tell you. So Master Yi, first of all, Master Yi builds Navori's quick blades and Solaris Charge Blade. This is 50 ability haste. So on top of like the 20-second cooldown and all the ability haste you're gonna have, you are gonna have your ultimate like every 20 seconds. Every 20 seconds. It's insane. It's insane how big this buff is. It's absolutely absurd and insane. It's just, oh my god. I can't wait to actually make a Master Yi video. So let's look at Soraka. I haven't seen this before, so this is also my first time reading it, so I can actually give my raw reaction to it. Shorten the pre-cooling time of your second W skill and add 2 skill passive effects. I have no idea what that means, but it looks like a buff to me. Shortens the pre-cooldown time. The translation is not the best, but adjusted the cooling time. Oh, so basically the cooldown. They made the cooldown shorter. Ah, okay. I mean, it's a buff. They made the cooldown shorter, which is a buff. New. If cast while energized, the maximum health cost will be reduced by while energized. Guys, this is for you Soraka mains out there. I have never played Soraka before, but this definitely looks like a buff because when Soraka heals her allies, it costs from her maximum health, right? And it says if cast while energized, which I assume has something to do with the second ability, you're going to be reducing less HP from yourself. But this looks like a pretty big buff to Soraka. So let's skip Soraka because it's kind of a boring champion anyways. So Mundo. Mundo has been really weak, so I'm expecting a buff here. Let's take a look at it. They adjust his base health. Okay, this is good. This is really good. So you guys remember where they nerfed Darius and Fiora's base health by 40 HP? You guys remember how big that felt? And it was big. They now buffed Mundo. And this is really, really good. This is really going to make him beefy in the early game. Instead of 650 HP, he's going to have 690 HP. This is going to allow him to take one more basic attack before dying, which could be completely game-changing. Though they adjusted this to the basic health regeneration adjusted from 9 to 12. This is really good because all Mundo is about is HP regeneration. He also built Spirit Visage, so it's gonna stack even better with the Spirit Visage. This is really this is a really solid buff to Mundo. And what else did they change? The first ability now deals adjusted life cost. So it costs less from your life. I mean, that's a buff. It's pretty good buff as you can see, especially in the early game. The ultimate, the total HP recovery has been adjusted. Oh, it has been buffed. And at max level, you recover 110% of your max HP. So basically, your ultimate is going to be stronger now. The Mundo ultimate is going to be stronger. Is this going to make Mundo good? I still think he's going to suck just because of how broken Vayne is right now. Like, you can literally counterpick Mundo with Vayne. Also with Corki, for example. But I think he might actually re-enter the meta again in the jungle. We will see. But these are some solid buffs. Let's now go to Blitzcrank. They increased the damage from his first ability. So base damage adjusted from... They just improved it. Adjusted the power factor from 80% to 100%. Well, what the hell that means, I don't know. Adjusted the power factor. Yeah, see, I'm sorry about the quality of this. This is like, I wanted to get this to you guys very fast, but unfortunately, this is the quality that I'm gonna bring to you. Sometimes I don't know what it reads because what the hell does power factor mean? Basically, the first ability is gonna be dealing more damage from Blitzcrank. It's not a big change, but yeah. Fizz. Look at how it got translated. Fizz. So okay, let's take a look at what they did. They nerfed him. Obviously, Fizz, I just called him Fizz, but I thought that Fizz was not broken, but he was really broken actually. Like, he was really, really broken in the last update. So first of all, they adjusted the damage from to jungle camps from 150% to 120%. This is his passive, right? Do you guys remember when they made jungle Fizz viable? Initially, it used to be like you would deal 200% damage to jungle camps. Then they changed it to 150 because it was too broken. And now they nerfed it even further to 120%. Does this kill Jungle Fizz? I mean, this must kill Jungle Fizz. Like, Jungle Fizz is not going to be viable anymore. You're not going to be able to kill Jungle as fast anymore. The third ability, the cooldown time got nerfed. So as you can see, it got nerfed by 0.5 seconds. Not a big change. This is not a big change. The ultimate, the cooldown got nerfed as well. At level 1, it got nerfed by 15 seconds. Level 2, 10 seconds. Level 3, 5 seconds. So basically what this does to Fizz, jungle Fizz is not going to be viable anymore. Like, it's just not going to be viable anymore. You're not going to be able to clear out the jungle fast enough. 1 second, I need to take out the cable. And about the ultimate, see, I really like this change because in the early game, it's a big nerf. It's a big nerf. Like, you cannot spam your ultimate anymore. Do you guys remember where you would just be able to completely spam the hell out of your ultimate? In the late game, you're still going to be able to spam your ultimate because they only nerfed the cooldown by 5 seconds. But in the early game, you really have to be conservative about your ultimate. And you really have to actually hit it and not just miss it and wait for like 1 minute or maybe even 40 seconds if you already have ability haste to just get it again. So these are some pretty substantial nerfs, especially to the early game. And, you know, when you get to the late game with mid lane Fizz, he's pretty much going to be the same. You know, he's literally going to be the same. Lucian. I'm expecting a nerf to Lucian. Yeah, it says weakened. So, basic attack power adjusted. Oh, wait, what? Oh, I see. So in the early game, you're gonna have more damage on your basic attacks, but it scales way weaker into the late game, as you can see. So instead of getting 4.55 attack damage every level, you now only get 2.65. This is a nerf. This is a, like, in the early game it's a buff, but in the it doesn't really make big changes. Like, as I said, in the early game it's a buff, but you scale way weaker into the late game. Also, he gets less armor. This is not that important, but it could be like this change. For example, if you're against a Rengar, you're gonna get completely one-shotted because you're gonna have less armor, which is really big against those attack damage champions. Like, he's just gonna get weaker. This is a pretty big nerf, I would say. Like, especially in the late game where he used to be really broken. So the third ability, they nerfed the cooldown. They added 1 second to it. This makes sense. Like, in the late game, it was completely broken, but now it's gonna be fine. It's still gonna be really strong, but it's fine. It's fine, you know. In the late game, you're still going to have it up very often. But this was just necessary, right? Lucian was so broken. So, what did they do to Graves? Reduce attack power growth. So, yeah, his skills weaker into the late game. Did they actually add all the changes here? I thought that they nerfed his ultimate as well or something like that. I'm not so sure. But basically, his skills weaker into the late game. He gets 0.95 less attack damage per level. So, at level 15, you're going to be having 14 less attack damage. It's not a big change, but I think they forgot to add something. I don't know. I saw something about Graves as well that they changed. Maybe his ultimate cooldown or something. But okay, let's just keep it at this page because this is officially from the Chinese Wild Rift. So yeah, it's not a big nerf. It's just a nerf in the late game. Camille. I really hope they weakened Camille. Yeah, they weakened Camille. So, the third ability stuns. You know, the hook stuns for 0.75 seconds instead of 1 second. And they nerfed the cooldown of her ultimate. Guys, Camille was like way too strong. So this was really necessary. Like, this is not that, these are not game-changing changes. She's still gonna be like super strong. But this was necessary, right? The small nerf, she really needed it. Annie, let's take a look at Annie. No way, they nerfed Annie. I was just gonna make a video about Annie. They changed her base HP from 570, oh, you guys cannot see it actually, from 570 to 530. Oh no, they nerfed Annie. I haven't even made an Annie video yet. Oh, that's sad. That is actually so sad. Also, her second ability costs more mana, and this, like, you may not think that the extra 10 mana is big, but it's actually pretty big because Annie already has mana problems, and her second ability now costs even more mana. So Annie is gonna take a pretty big hit from this, guys. So now let's think about Kucher. What the hell is Kucher? It's Corky. So okay, adjusted armor growth. Yeah, so he gets 0.4 less armor per level. So at level 15, you're gonna have 15 less armor. 6 less armor. Yet again, this is going to be like when an enemy is picking a Z in the mid lane, for example, it's going to be really weak. Like, Corky is not going to be strong against those champions again because, you know, they're going to counter him. He has 6 less armor at level 15. And, you know, you may not think it's big, but it is actually pretty big. Because especially those lethality builds where they have flat armor penetration, it's going to be really powerful against champions that got this nerf, guys. And this is a change that I really like. Useless stick? What? Is this item called useless stick in Chinese? Okay, so basically, this item, which is a component to Rabadon's deathcap, used to be way too broken, like on Evelynn, Katarina, Akali. So they changed the cost from the item from 800 to 900. So the combined cost with the book is going to be 1400 instead of 1300. And spell power adjusted, so you also get 5 less ability power. This is a big nerf. This item got nerfed really hard. I'm not expecting people to build Rabadon's deathcap first anymore. No. This is like such a big nerf to the item. It's just gonna make you way too weak in the early game. So the Rebel's death cap, the cost is still the same. Like as you can see, synthetic cost adjusted from 900 to 700. That's because the two components got more expensive. So the Rebel's death cap is still gonna cost 3,500 gold, but it's gonna, instead of 130, it's gonna give you 120 ability power. It's a nerf, guys. It's not a really big nerf to the item itself, because Rabadon's death cap is really all about the 40% bonus. And you know, instead of 130, 120, the item is still going to be really good. But the component nerf, so building up to the item, you're going to be weaker. It's going to cost more gold and it's weaker. It gives you less ability power. So, you know, it's not a first item anymore. It's going to be at least a second item now in the new update. Let's take a look at Essence Reefer. Increase the synthetic price, reduce the skill haste. Okay, so they made the price higher from 3,100 gold to 3,250. And what is this? Oh, and the component. One of the components, instead of costing 900, it costs 1,050. And the ability haste goes from 25 to 20. It's a nerf. It's like this kind of hurts the item. It does definitely hurt the item. And this is also indirectly going to hurt Corki and Lucian, because these are champions that always built this item. So, you know, they're just not going to be broken anymore. I think this is going to make it a bit more balanced. Like, the item itself was probably not completely broken, but on certain champions, it was broken. So this is a deserved nerf. Bloodthirster. It's called Blood Drinking Sword here. So, the total price goes from 3,200 to 3,300. So the item is going to be 100 gold more expensive. But, yeah, and also one of the components is, instead of 1,000, it's going to be 1,100. But the attack damage that you get for it, instead of 40, is going to be 50. So you're only going to be paying 100 extra gold for extra 10 attack damage. Huge buff. This is a huge buff to the item, guys. Absolutely huge buff. Like, this item, whoo, on Jinx, on Draven, on, I don't know, Riven, this item is gonna be an absolute banger. I need to make a new Jinx video with this item, because 50 attack damage, 25% crit, you get vampirism from it. It's insane. Like, this item is gonna be so insane now. Oh, let's now get to the Solaris Charge Blade. Did they really only just make the item 100 gold more expensive? This item was so broken, man. Did they really just make it 100 gold more expensive? Are you kidding me? I mean, the item is still going to be broken, right? The item is still going to be broken. So what happened here? They fixed some issues. Fixed the issue that the skin, this is not important, this is not important, this is not important. So these are some pretty nice changes, guys. Definitely let me know in the comments what you guys think of the changes. I think it's pretty nice, especially the Master Yi. Like, I'm gonna make the Master Yi video. I promise you guys, I'm gonna be making the Master Yi video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Put down a comment under the video. Let me know what you think. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. And yeah, let's see. I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye bye.